That's it. I would be water. Yeah.
Time being 6 o'clock, call the budget workshop to order. Number one, discussion of the proposed budget for fiscal year 2026, 2027, and all things related thereto. Staff presenter, Kurt.
Mayor, Town Council, good evening. Before we get started with the public budget, I want to thank Shannon. We spent many hours on this. We did do some changes, hopefully make it a little more easier for everyone to read and understand. But what I'm going to do tonight is go over the budget. I have some highlighted areas that I showed that you've probably already noticed. And when we get to those, but if there's anything at all, a line item you want me to go over, be more than happy to explain that, any numbers that you need more clarification on. First page, obviously, we're looking well again this year. This year, we're bringing in $151,023 proposed to bring in this year, and of that, $101,826 is for new properties that will be rolling over. The tax rate, effective rate will be 3.5%, and we'll raise maintenance and operations. I want to clarify that though, that's if we did the no new revenue. It says if you did the no new revenue, it'd be zero. We're just leaving our taxes the same at 17,346. So there's really no tax increase. Next. Yes, if you look at the new property, we're proposing the same property tax at 17,346 that we've had the last several years. I think the last several years, you'll notice that we haven't brought in more property taxes the last 3 years, so I think that's a good number right now to stay at. And then if you look at the no new revenue, it's been 1650, a little different than last year. But what really is nice this year's a voter approval rate was 17,2653, just below what we're proposing this year. And last year was 1677. The minutes rates didn't change that much, but I think we're gonna be okay just going with the same tax rate, bringing in the right amount of revenue that will meet all expenses.
What page are you on?
The de minimis.
Page 2.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Never mind, I was looking at this.
Always on.
There. Some of the budget, supposed budget.
Thank you.
And you look at the Avalon tax, currently the last few years, we've averaged just below 1.2 million. I think that I want to be conservative on that, and we have brought in more this year. As you know, we brought in about 150,000 more currently. But as we make a proposed budget, I think leaving it just a little above what we did last year at 1.2 million will be a good conservative number. And then if you look at the sales tax, leaving that the same as well, we had, if you look at last year, we had 891,000 brought in. But on the tax rate, sales tax, as we know, just over in Argyle, they're gonna have a Tom Thumb, the HEB is gonna grow, and then also to the east of us, it's a possibility that they'll have a shopping center as well and potentially grocery store. So I want to be conservative in those numbers because we don't know what the tax rate could do. So we're gonna leave that at 800. Any questions on that? And the same that goes for mixed beverages, I think just leaving it a conservative number of 90, because we really don't know how that's gonna affect us. On the next, if you look at permits, the zoning subdivisions DRC fees, you'll notice that this year's budget, current budget, is over by 15,000. We budgeted 10,000 in the overage. The reason for that is in the past, we only charged for the application fee. If you did a DRC, BOA, or planning and zoning, currently we do charge them for the planner, the attorney, and administrative fees. So that $15,000 increase is due to us now making the applicant pay for our consultants. In the past, we just did the application fee.
And I wanted to say, y'all have done a great job on increasing permitting application fees, development fees. So that the town, we're passing a lot of these costs along to the applicant instead of the town, not paying for the engineering, all these involved, so that y'all done a great job.
Thank you, Mayor. So what should we?
Yes. That's the way that we can.
As we go into, so current, our budget, what we're proposing this year for revenue is $2,753,850. Hey, John, go ahead.
The 2.8 right now, that's our current year to date, that's not a projected annual, right?
Yes, sir, that's our current year to date,
Okay.
that we brought in actually 100,000 more than, about 80-something thousand more than we did, that we projected.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I just want to make sure it's a year to date number, not a.
And we still have 2 more months, so
Okay,
yes, sir, that is correct.
thank you.
Hey, Kurt, these smaller towns around us there, is there a formula that they're using as a proposal for loss of revenue due to the reevaluations of property? are they using some type of a table of saying that they need this much in order to replace the losses of devaluation of the ad valorem, or the decreasing in ad valorem tax because of the homestead exemptions and all that increase? Is there a formula out there that they're using?
Yes, that's when we go to the text, truth about taxation, there's a number, there's a column that we fall in and other cities fall in. So each city's different. And their numbers are gonna be different from voter approval, de minimis, no new revenue. So each town has a different formula that is used to allow them to do the same thing we're doing here on what they need to put it at to make, pay for their expenses and revenue versus expenses.
I was just curious because I see these numbers out there, like Collinsville is increasing there 13 cents. And Frisco is like 3 cents, and they're saying they're losing X number of millions of dollars because of valuations. Well, how do they know that? Unless there's some type of grid out there that they can go by and say, this is what it's going to be. And then fall within, and so they know what they got. I wasn't sure how they do
Talk about legal valuation,
it.
property valuation, enterprise value.
You're talking about the increase in the homestead exemption, all of that, yeah.
Shannon would be more than happy to answer that probably a little better than I just did, so I'll turn it over.
The Denton County tax appraiser or all the different counties, they start in April giving us numbers, that's the document we're looking at. And people are watching their values go up and down. Denton County has not had a huge loss this year in market values and whatnot. So each county has that when they're providing it to the cities, so they know what their evaluations are, and then they're certified at the end of July. That's always why we talk about the July 25th date. So then they get their certified rolls, and then they go off of those numbers, and just like we use that document to get our numbers.
Okay, I was just curious as to why all of a sudden in the last 2 weeks, we've heard these numbers being given by these other towns about their properties, I mean, their taxes, what they're having to do to recover some of their losses on the homestead on that around, and I'm just curious.
They may have tighter budgets too, and there's a lot of uncertainty right now in the market, so maybe they may not have as much room as other towns do to
Yeah,
if property values decline.
well, I'm sure they're none percent as well as what we are. I was just curious as to that we have a template or a format there that we can use in order to project and say, okay, on the average, here's what our ad valorem is gonna lose this year, and we can, and maybe that's how these other towns are doing this, to increase their taxes to make up for that.
There's other items, sorry, that needs to come in, and if they have a high debt ratio for their INS portion, which we do not have debts, that will take into account too, because you have to pay your debt back, and usually you're taking that for your annual.
But for the revenue that you have, you're subject to significant property declines or decline in sales tax like you talked about. Seems pretty safe. I mean, that's what would have to happen for these numbers to be off, right?
And that's why we can keep our numbers with that, yes, sir. Yeah. Then there is a table that this huge document that's in there, if you want to look at it, there's some things in there that could help
Essentially,
understand that a little bit.
The CAD provides that number to us, and that's how you base your budget, so.
Yeah, everybody gets the same, different numbers depending on.
Yeah, they update that number monthly for y'all for this.
They do it weekly through, starting in April, and then they do the certified in July, and we go on, we use the certified tax roll that they sign off on. On July.
Current information. but
Yes.
As current as you can get. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
So moving on to administration, you'll notice on our wages and salaries that it has decreased. That's because of my dual role changing. We're moving my salary over into the police side. And you'll notice there will be an increase when I get to that. But we have decreased it from 449,000. We're projecting $385,800 for this coming budget. Yes. Yes. If you look at on audit and accounts, we had to increase our budget That was just one of those fees that we didn't really have any control over, so we had to increase it from 30,000 to 60,000. Those would be factors that, we use. And that's why that's at that increase. And then also on codifications and records management, we consolidated those two. I believe records management was at 6,000 and then codification was 25. If you look at our computer software maintenance, that will. I'm highlighting one of the two areas that is increasing, and that's actually going to increase $57,215. The plug permit annual subscription, that is the software we're currently in training on for permits and building and planning. And that's that software that's gonna make it just more, a little more streamlined, easier, more automated. We're hoping to go live on that in September. And then also council has requested that we look at the council chambers AV upgrades. And what we do have to do this, because there is a legislative requirement that we're gonna have accessibility improvements, the hearing impaired, and also the visually impaired. So that's what we have to do when we look at that system. So
Repeat that again.
so what we're wanting to do, the council has asked us to redo our AV. And there's a state requirement that when we do that, our new AV system has to be hearing and visually accommodate hearing and visually impaired individuals. So they can listen to our council meetings, either read it or hear it or transcribe it. So that's what we're having to do. That's one of the reasons for that increase.
How old is this system?
This technology is a few years prior to COVID.
That's what I was.
This is like
2019.
that was
over
probably,
10 years.
yeah, that's all probably the early twenties, or 2020, but the technology is like 10 years old. Now, 10 years outdated, sorry.
Sure.
We'll do upgrades.
100%, we needed to upgrade 4 years ago, and 5 years ago, and
And we've really had a hard time trying to get anybody to.
Give us a.
There are some huge price range differences, but we'll continue to. We'll do our best to bring a product to you that's gonna work for us. At a good price.
And you're thinking about 50 grand, maybe?
That's what we're looking at, is probably gonna be at least $50,000, just.
Yeah, well,
But most of the citizens that I hear from when they're trying to watch this is because of the not being able to see.
Yeah.
And it cuts off like when you are and maybe before you and they don't really see the chamber, but then it's also the audio. So, yeah, we address that's right.
And then if you'll notice on contract labor, that 17,300, that's back when we had to bring in a temporary town secretary, and we no longer need that, so we're taking it out of the budget. On the elections, you'll notice a big increase. We budgeted 14,000 this year. Next year, for both elections, it's gonna go up to 25,000. The county is increasing the fee. So we're anticipating a May and November election, so that's why we're having to budget 50,000. And then if you look at inclement weather maintenance, as y'all know, last February, we had a really, really bad, like 2 weeks of frozen, maybe a little longer. And we had to have, the roads out here by town hall. We budgeted 8,000. We missed that by a little bit. And our total expense was 23,400. So we're planning on, and this is a moving target, as we all know, but we're gonna plan $14,000 for inclement weather.
Hopefully it won't be that way, but weather forecast is.
Well, the way we're right now, it's
Around next year.
so, well, it's supposed to be wetter,
Weather and cold.
but maybe not much snow or ice.
Does anybody have any other questions on the ones that I don't have highlighted? Because I want to make sure I cover anything if you have any questions at all. And the records manual, that was the one that I said we combined that $6,000 with codifications.
The planning services, that's Ryan.
Oh, sorry, thank you. I jumped over. Yes, planning, the reason we increased the planning from 42, we added 5,000. We're gonna be bringing those to, he's currently working on updating our ordinances to make sure they're in compliance with state regulations. It's been a long time since we've done that. He wants to bring us in compliance. So that was an additional time that he's gonna have to spend on that. So he gave me a number back before he came back anyway. So that was about a $5,000 increase. Yeah, and then like I stated, the records management, we moved that to
We combine records
It
management
was,
codification.
yeah, a few,
yeah, that was the one.
a couple of pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if you'll notice, when we go to the police department, as I spoke about, that 655,200, that increase from 516 was due to the chief's position. And so that was an increase. And also what we're doing, and Councilman Chapman had requested what it would be if we did a 2%. So if we did a 2% for administration and PD, we're looking at $30,593. And then also for TMRS and the change of budgets or benefits, you're looking at an additional 3,000. So total, because TMRS, we had a decrease, actually, our contribution went from 10 to 8%. So we had a decrease in that. We also, good news, when we look at and we went out for insurance was gonna go to 30 to 25%. They came in with the same 4 plans that we had at 25% or 24%. We looked at it and went to a plan and kept everybody on Blue Cross Blue Shield. They're not gonna have to change doctors, and we were able to reduce that cost. So we're really saving about 60,000 if we would have went with the old, or the other plans.
Yeah.
And now we're basically at, $2,000, so we're getting really flat. So a total cost, if we want to do a 2% increase, would be about $35,000.
Yeah, they saved a lot on insurance.
And that's just no tubes.
They picked out a plan that was like 4% less than what we're currently paying.
Yes, ma'am.
For the premium, so y'all did it, you probably always bought it. And insurance.
Good job.
Considering it was gonna go up 25%, we dropped it 4% basically.
Keeping the same networks of doctors on it.
Is that 2% captured? Is that something?
Yes. That's in both admin and P.
So we built that into this.
We built it in, yes.
Those benefits and coverage should remain pretty well same and constant.
Yeah, matter of fact, the child, and if you have a child, it actually has gone down 300 a month in premiums. So there's some other premiums that went down, but there were some, it sort of leveled out. Your out of pocket went up a little bit. When you start looking at the global and what you're getting, I think we're getting a better product for
At least we're getting less coverage on for the policy or whatever. Basically the same.
do what, say that
The
again?
coverage amounts are the same, or close.
The coverage is the same.
Yes.
Basically the same.
Yes. No, and they're also, we're gonna be able to do an HSA for everybody as well. And we've already did that last year. We've done that several years. So I will tell you this, when we were talking about them, a lot of administrations, they aren't being able to do this. And we were lucky enough to get with our provider. And when we saw that huge number, at first we're like, because we had a 14% last year, we can't keep going up. And so we went out and got some really good rates.
Okay.
That didn't always take a while.
Good thing.
Good job.
So as y'all know, these are the highlighted numbers. We went ahead and had the approval. We signed the MOA on the 287G agreement. And these numbers, this money is gonna be transferred from police over into that 600 fund. And when you get to that, these are the different ones that are gonna be transferred over. Vehicle maintenance, cell phone, computers, we're able to move all these over. The Data Max, Adobe, Tyler Technologies, which is Brazos, and then the other software licenses. And then if you look at the, you have your dues, we're moving those over. We have the fuel, moving that over, and then also you have your training and uniforms, travel training and uniforms. All of those would be moved over from general fund into the new 600 fund, which is the 287 agreement. Any questions on that?
Were any of those moved from CCPD?
Yes, ma'am, we'll get to that. Yes, I'll show you and I can give you numbers on how much was actually moved. If anyone would like those numbers.
You wanna go straight to 600?
Yeah, let's just go straight to 600 and that would be easier. If you would prefer me to do that, would that be easier?
It doesn't matter.
Okay,
I mean, I'm thinking some of them might come from CCPD, which is great, because we're saving money also.
yeah, when we get to CCPD, you'll see the moving number as well. But so your 600 fund, this was the 287 agreement and it was 580,000 you put in that account. And you'll notice Axon body cameras will be 15, the cell phones, like I just talked about, are transferred. And then the computer software maintenance, we're able to move $42,000 into this account. And what we did, we met with our IT department, some of the old computers and the report writing is right about $7,000. And then Data Mac monthly service was 21,000. And then we have the Adobe for 550, Tyler Technologies and Brazos, and we're gonna look at getting two new ticket writers.
Page 16. If you're-
Is 60, I'm sorry, do I need to slow it down?
No, that's.
Okay.
Sure.
6,800, and then like the chief brought up this, the Blue Voice. That is a really nice tool. That is that basically a supervisor on in your phone from our code of criminal procedures, penal code, traffic code, family code, city ordinances, city policies. So that is really a nice tool that we're gonna be able to use. Then you have your dues, as I spoke about. And then we have the equipment, the flock camera, it was at 50,000 that the chief had asked for a new module put in for $2,000. He spoke about that. That's that module that will allow you, say you had an armed robbery and you have a license plate, you will be able to track to see where that car is going. Instead of the chief and I used to sit out on surveillance for 24 hours, you know, like you saw in the movies. Now you can go, hey, Riggs is gonna be there at 7 o'clock. We'll zoom in and get him. So it's a great tool. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about the flock cameras because it has been getting a lot of media attention. And so let me reduce the height. This, I can give you example after example of when I was in Jersey Bills. I'm gonna give you examples here while I've been chief. That flock camera is utilized for protective orders, pedophiles, murder suspects, stolen vehicles. We had a young lady that was beaten really bad in our town. That he had 2 cars. Both of those cars were put in the flock system. When we get a hit, it goes on our phone and on our computer, in the car, and also if I'm sitting at my computer in my office. I was out, got up, went out with another officer. We stopped him before he could get to her. To me, that alone, when you can have a virtual gate, and I always say, this is a virtual gate protecting. Can any tool be used wrong by police or whoever? Sure. But let's don't look at what's really going on. This saves lives more than it's gonna hurt. Another thing is, just the other last council meeting, I presented an award, a merit award to the lieutenant who solved a crime in our town. In less than 24 hours, less than 14 hours. We had that armed robbery at 7-Eleven. He was able to track it using flock. And then he was also able to, Corinth had also the same armed robbery suspect solve their crime. So these kind of tools are used now. Also, just so you know, we the chief got, we got an open records request from, these people wanting to know about our clock process. Well, we're audited. We manage the audit. And we're using it with integrity and the right way it's supposed to be. So we did that internally. And we will continue to do that. I know the chief will. So let's look at what it really is doing. It's a very much something that is very, very important and a great tool. Not only prevent somebody crime from in people that come into our family, but also once a crime is committed, we can solve it very quickly. So I just wanted to go a little, any questions or comments about that?
Cameras that are strategically posted within the town.
We have 22 cameras.
That's what, okay, I knew they were out here, I didn't know how many sense.
Yes, sir. We have some internal, we have some, we have them throughout, and we have it strategic to place those. So if you are coming in, do something, and you go out, we catch you coming in and going out. So that's how we use it. Like I said, down in Jersey Village, Bay 54.
It's a license plate reader.
Yes, sir.
It doesn't take pictures of the
No,
trucks, right?
all it is a license plate reader. Same thing that when people are talking about the red light cameras, they weren't taking a picture of your face, it's taking a picture of your license plate when they were running. So all it is a tool for the police department to prevent crime. If somebody comes in our town that is a wanted suspect or a stolen vehicle or protective order, those are, we just had a case that we have a terroristic threat. We have a resident here that his brother's threatening to kill him. And guess what we got to do? We get to put his information in our system. If he comes from Houston up here, we're gonna get a hit. The officer's gonna be able to do that and prevent a crime. So let's look at what it's really doing. It's a great tool and I hope you continue to support it.
It's kind of like the readers for the tollways. So it's kind of similar.
Yeah.
I mean, there
A
are,
lot of misinformation or citizens thinking that it was some kind of invasion of privacy. And that was ginned up by the news media. And so the people were just concerned that there was some way or another that their private information was going to be released.
Well, I remember when they first came out, it was a big fad and a lot of tickets were being given by some towns and I think that created a lot of that.
Now, I know you first from food list and little bit citizen, misinformation about fish and what we wanted to know from children. You just mentioned Bartonville was covered, so someone could not, believe that. I said, should there be a felony, I said, should we get a notification that person is looking out?
That tool's not a concern for me.
no, and I just wanted to bring that up as a chief. Yeah, it's just, I mean, I'm telling you, it's a great, you have an extra set of 22 eyes now.
Yeah.
24/7. And you know, you have a virtual gate, which is awesome. And not just here, but nationally. But anyway, I'll move on. But I just wanted to point that out. We did have the 12,000 for the radios, the small equipment repair. That's what the chief's doing, the 40 millimeter, less lethal, and then also the shields for each car. The fuel, we did increase that from 22,000 to 25,000. As you know, some of it fluctuates day to day, but we wanted to make sure we had that in there. Travel training, uniforms, vehicle maintenance, and then the new vehicle, that is, if you remember, on the $580,000 for the 287, $100,000 that can be used for vehicle. And that's gonna be used for the $80,000 would be for a new vehicle. And then, of course, the
And that purchase fully equipped.
fully equipped, it's gonna have a computer, actually, the chief even has a provider that's gonna get it out much quicker to the defender, and they'll do turnkey from computer, radar. I mean, everything, all at once, one-stop shop is the one. I think he's looking at another provider to get the best rate. But yes, he's gonna go ahead and that will be a new vehicle we'll be getting, and then also the vehicles that those three, remember, two that we purchased, I guess, a year or so ago with the government capital. That's the payment that will pay the 58,314.
Yeah.
That 100,000 has to be used on vehicle.
Yes.
Can't just use it for anything else. That 100,000 is just earmarked for a vehicle.
So this 58,000, is this the second installment So I think there were 3 installments, right?
Yeah, and after
So
that.
this we have second, yeah, and then we have a year after that.
Because we got the money and we didn't have to pay for a year.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then as you notice, so expenses for the 280 agreement of 343,964, leaving a surplus to roll over for next year, because we'll have another year on this agreement. We'll have $236,036. And then I guess we,
Well, here's just the key.
okay, and I can also go into CCPD. Year to date, as you notice, we have brought in 127,000.
What page is that?
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
14, is the last page of the proposed budget.
Thank you.
So if you look at year to date on sales revenue, we made the proposed budget was 130,000. We brought in 127,336. I think today we got another 14,000. The CCP.
It would be the gray square, be number 18.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, if you're looking at the gray square.
Everybody there.
We got multiple pages.
Okay.
I don't have a packet, I'm going from just the document.
Yeah, I got you.
So CCPD, here's our numbers. We're, like I said, we're gonna budget another $130,000. If you look at CCPD, some of the other revenues we're moving out of that, just like general fund would be the hardware. And then, no, I'm sorry, that's from last year's scratch that I should have it there. Basically, you have the 50,000 for the flock. The Axon body cameras, the training, the uniforms, the vehicle. And then, of course, the accessories. So those funds are gonna be transferred over into the 600 account. So this year, we're only gonna have to spend $34,700 out of the CCD fund of that 130. So we reduced that. And if you look at the total number for CCPD, that will be moved over into ICE as $168,314. And just if you wanted to know that. So now, sorry, we jumped over. I just wanted, since the mayor said question, I guess, just be easy to go to the 600 account.
Thank you. Go back into which page?
Yeah, we go back to the 150, go back to what page?
Page 16, and then bring off.
Thank you.
150. 16.
I think it's earlier than that.
It's a gray square number 11.
11.
So this is our reserve account, and Shannon will get into how much we have in there currently. I believe on balance, we have 866 now. But this is just what we bring in each year, and this is on the interest earned. Now, currently, we did bring in a little bit more than we had budgeted. When we're looking at interest, though, we got to remember the interest rates have gone down. So we're gonna be conservative, and you'll see some of that in the budget, that we have reduced some of the interest rates. Next, go to waste fund 160, which is wastewater. Yes.
Sorry. We're hoping to add more money to the emergency reserve fund after our audit, which would probably be next April or May, right? Something like that. Because I'd like to get up to $1 million for emergency reserve.
We're a little over 800 right now.
866.
Oh,
So we're 140. Yeah.
She's gonna get you the number right there. 862. I was off by 4,000.
thank you.
We're getting close.
We are. So if you look at the wastewater. This is basically, we budget 41,000. You'll notice year to date, we're a little below that, but all this is, we don't pay this, we get reimbursed by the Bartonville Town Center, the different restaurants, Marty B's, Cloud9. So basically, we pay it and they reimburse us for this. So this is just more of a,
That's the.
Pass through.
thank you.
Yeah, we're not, yeah.
I'm a little behind on this.
Yes. we're a little, yeah, we're a little in it, not a lot.
Yeah.
And then if you go to our street fund, this is an account we changed a little bit, I think it's a little easier to read. Instead of, you'll notice on the other ones, we're over and under, we're doing remaining revenues. Cause this account, you know, that we bring in a certain amount every year, we budget about 520,000 every year for the 1/8 of a cent we get on street tax. So what we've done, if you look at, I'm just gonna go to, the approved this, well, let's go back to 2025, just sort of to explain it. If you look down at the bottom, after we had our expenses, we had 479,281 left over. That rolled over into in the 2025 actual. So we started out with a 470 plus, we had we brought in 614,000 that year versus the 520. And then you also had your interest rate, and then you had a total of 1,138,000. As you know, doing right now, we're currently, no, that was phase 2. Last year we did phase 2 of Jeter. The engineering, which was Westwood, we spent 87,500 on consulting fees. That year, we only spent 133,000 out of the 250 maintenance for just road repairs. And then also the street project was 737,000. So out of that 1,138,000, we had a surplus of 180,637. Rolling back into this year proposed budget, we had the 180, and then what we proposed, what we budgeted for 520, plus the interest rate of 440,000, and then this surplus, this $790,000, we combined. We had two street funds. We had a 310 and the 170. So we combined those two, and we were able to bring that in to that budget. So that's where we got the 790. Plus, as you remember, Shannon found that nice bank note for $360,000. We split, part of it went into reserve, part of it went into our street fund. So we had a total 1,714,000. As you know, we're in phase 3 of East Jeter, and I'm just gonna go over, if you'll shift over to year to date. Year to date, we've had to pay our consultant out of the 100,000 we budgeted, $84,709. On the street maintenance, you'll notice we went over a little bit, 7,400. That was a complaint that we came in. We had a culvert over on Latigo that we had to have fixed. It was caving in, so we had an emergency there. We couldn't wait. So that's why we went a little over. And I know the mayor and I talked about reducing that, but after we talked a little bit more, we said, let's keep it at 250, because we don't know these roads, we may have another culvert cash in. So we're leaving that at 250,000. Any questions, I think?
We can always rebalance it if we don't use it, so.
Sure. And now, if you look at the street project, we've only had to pay one payment that just came in for phase 3 of 255,808. That, as you remember, that project's right at $910,000. So once we pay it out, and this number I'd have to shoot, I don't want to confuse you, but once we pay everything, we're gonna be able to roll over 686,000 into this coming budget.
Okay.
So we get shift with, 668. And then, of course, we're budgeting the same amount, that you go down 520, 40 for interest. So we're gonna have, starting out this budget, we'll have $1.2 million for streets. Any questions? I know this is a lot. Hang in there. This is good. We're almost there. We're halfway done. Trust me. The hours we put into this thing, I don't want to rush, because I want to make sure y'all get everything. We've done a lot of research on this, and we want to make sure we give y'all the best product to look at, make the decisions you're going to make. On the grant, this is the 380 agreement, Lantana. If you look at this number on revenues, this 143,715, that's not quite a half a year. So they're split between fiscal budgets. And we can't control that. This agreement was done that we paid them in March. This year we didn't even pay them until
Last week.
last week. So what we paid them, if you'll go down, is debit. So in 2024, we paid them 256,592. And last year we paid them 234,319. And this year we paid 215,922. Now their number came in at 315 or 300 and almost
320th.
yeah, 320,000. Well, we did our math. We showed, no, we don't owe that much. So we reduced it by about 105,000. So that was their number that we gave them.
Yeah, these are actual amounts that they get.
Right.
Yes.
So we're not going over, it's just very difficult the way that we pay them in the fiscal year.
So where would they pull their number from, if they're that far off, 107,000?
Well, they have to, put into account, they have 9 vacancies in the shopping center. So they're not earning, that's why you see the numbers going down. I'm sorry, I didn't hijack you.
That's okay.
Give you a second to take a drink. As they're losing their and they have their vacancies, their numbers are going down each year.
Well, there's competition over it.
So any questions on that? Because that number does look weird. The mayor pointed that out. We looked at it and we have to do some more. Because it's a different, the way it calculates, the way it goes to different budgets or different calendar years. If you go to municipal court, we talked about this and Shannon and I decided to move this out of general fund because we always get the question, where does the money go? Well, I'm gonna show you where the money goes. We always hear this hype about police departments funding municipalities with tickets. Well, let me show you what the real numbers are, not somebody, once again, hype. If you look at the numbers, our year to date, we brought in on municipal fines, we budgeted 85,000, we brought in a little over that, 87,888. Then you have the credit card payments of 16. So we have a total this year bringing in 114,966. If you look at the actual, so you look at the state comptroller, this is the state. We send them 68,388 out of that number. Then you have another $66, which is a bunch for collections. Then we have to collection agency fees of 2,500. So when you go ahead and go, then we also have, you'll look at the municipal court expenses this year's, then that's the judge and prosecutor. And then if you look at the other payments we have, the 5150, that is our Adobe annual, the FundView subscription, and then our bailiff services. So when you go ahead and calculate that, the town gets less than $30,000. Out of all
25%.
it's, yes, so we thought it was important, we always get those questions, let's break it out and show you the true numbers.
I think most of it went to the state, or a good portion of it goes to the state.
Next, I think that was it,
That was it.
because we did jump. Apologize, moving over to the 600 to the 900, we went a little out of order, but hopefully if there's any questions that you think of after this, please let us know, and I'll be happy to answer any other questions.
BCDC.
That we said we're done.
You said we're.
Hey, this has been, I'll tell you what, many hours. I think I dreamt it. So excuse me just a little bit. BCDC. So instead of going through all of that, I'm gonna hit the highlights. Because the old town maintenance, as you know, there were some well issues that I had to look at. I had 3 other companies come out. One company actually got the well started, the pump, because the pump was out. So they came out, fixed it. He did say, hey, it's on its last leg. So what we want to do is budget money. I've gotten anywhere from a 9,000 to 13,000 quotes to replace the pump. So that's why we're going to increase that. Now, the beautification, drainage and erosion, that was something that, you know, sitting on the BCDC board and start thinking about, we don't have a lot of places to bring in business. We have one partial left, and that's between Whataburger and the Breaks Plus. It's not like we're gonna have a lot more commercial. Hopefully not. We won't. And so what is our thing about how do we keep businesses here? And how can we fill some of those spots, the vacancy that I think in a few attempts? So let's make the intersection a little prettier, more curb appeal. When you pull up to a house, look at the curb appeal. Well, let's make our curb appeal nice. So they had about $700,000 in there. So let's look at what we can do. So we went out and got some went out for an RFP. Evergreen was the one that was awarded it. And what we'll be doing the intersection at 407 and Jeter by Sips, both of those corners. And what we're gonna do is, you know, sort of the Texas, it's not anything that's gonna need irrigation. It's gonna be more of a
Natural.
Zero
It's
scale.
gonna kind of match the old town.
yes.
Zero scale.
And so we're doing that intersection, then we're gonna do here at McMakin and Jeter, just the two corners, cause you have, you know, Tim's Place and then the other business there. And then we're also gonna do IT Neely and 407 by Marty B's and 7-Eleven. And then we're also gonna do out in front of the Kroger. Because if you look at that, it just, TxDOT comes just mows it, it's just not the median. So this is something I think is gonna be, once the project's done, I think it's gonna be a really nice asset for our town. As you notice, we did put the boulders in there,
Yes.
because it was, those 18-wheelers were tearing it up.
Yeah.
So this was something that we took to BCDC, they agreed to fund this. And so if you have any questions on that, I'll be happy to answer them.
When they first developed the community over and the next approach test, we changed the speed limit out there, and then we were talking about putting landscaping material and on the medium. And that time when they talked to us about that, I think this was the text doc. And they want to require us, put in material out there, that we have to have water. We have to have a well in order to furnish water out there. Now this, do you remember that, the text doc? Because if we were gonna plant trees and shrubs down in that median, that we had to have, there was a contract that we had to furnish, that we would provide the water. And what we back on decided not to use that.
Yeah, I think the bigger place, stuff that doesn't need water, like down in front of, Double Oak, you know, they've got none of that stuff needs water. Yeah.
I didn't know whether,
Yeah.
as a text doc, people was ever gonna require that water to be out there or not.
He reached out.
I've reached out to them and I haven't heard that. So if somebody comes up with that, then we'll have to address it at this time, but I've reached out to them. To see if this is okay, and we haven't had, so if they do bring that up, I'll let you know, but at this time, they have none.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, we all done a heck of a job.
Good job, got put a lot of work in.
Thank you.
Job's well done.
Thank both of you.
Appreciate
Lot
it.
of
Thank you.
long hours and sleepless nights doing this, and you did
It
a
was
great
work.
job.
Thank you, I guess that's it, this was.
I want to adjourn this and then ask if anybody, time being 6:50, we adjourn the budget workshop. Does anybody need a 2-minute break? No? Good. Good. Time being 6:50, I'll call the regular council meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Presentation. Appreciation of council members doing well. Want to meet me up here?
Hello, everybody. Here. Yeah.
Did you get a different view?
Mr. Roberts?
Stand over here.
Yes.
Thank you, appreciate it.
The rest is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A proclamation of the town council of the town of Bartonville, Texas, expressing appreciation to Councilmember Jim Roberts for his dedicated service to the town of Bartonville. Jim Roberts faithfully served the citizens of the town of Bartonville as a member of the town council from May 2021 through June 2026. And throughout his tenure, Councilmember Roberts demonstrated a steadfast commitment to responsible governance, thoughtful leadership, and the continued success of the town of Bartonville. And he devoted countless hours to reviewing policies, participating in council meetings, and making decisions that promoted health, safety, and welfare of the community, while guiding the town through important initiatives and opportunities. Councilmember Roberts approached his public service with professionalism, integrity, and respect for his fellow council members, town staff, and the residents of Bartonville. Although he's chosen to step down from the office due to increased work commitments and professional responsibilities, his willingness to serve his community and the contributions he's made his 5 years on the town council are sincerely appreciated and deserving of recognition. Now therefore be it proclaimed that the mayor and the town council of the town of Bartonville do hereby express their deepest appreciation and gratitude to Councilmember Jim Roberts for his dedicated service from May 2021 through June 2026. Both the town council and I extend our best wishes for continued success in Jim's professional endeavors and hopes that he looks back on his service to the town of Bartonville with pride, knowing that his contributions have made a lasting and positive impact on the community. Please join me in congratulating Jim.
Here, go back just a little further. There you go. Perfect. Thank you. Oh.
Very nice.
Thank you for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Oh.
Hey, I want to say, thanks to everybody too. Thank you guys. I'm honored to have served with you and work with you and to serve under this mayor and all the things that happened under this administration. Rick, you're gonna have a good time. It's a great group. Welcome. Glad to have you aboard. And I still hope to be involved in the town. I know from my time I spent here, you guys made me better. And I enjoy the time that I spent with you. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Item number 2 will be moved to the September 15th meetings with public participation. If you'd like to speak to the council, please fill out a form and hand it to Shannon. Please indicate on the form that you wish to speak during the discussion on a specific agenda item. Remember, council members are not allowed to answer questions during public participation. Please state your name and record for the address. And you have anybody, Shannon?
Del Roller.
Okay.
I'm still upright.
That's good.
That's good.
I brought with me my neighbor and good friend, James Warren. And after 15 years on the attorney board, I selected him myself to be a very good replacement, maybe better than me. So I hope that you vote him in, and I'm sure he'll do a good job. He came out of the corporate world, so he knows about all that business. And he's, I think, the best choice I could find. Thank you.
Thanks, Del.
Thank you.
Do anybody else?
No.
Thank you. Appointed representative liaison report, Denton County Emergency Services, your chief Barnes.
Evening, Mayor, Council, Brady Barnes, Fire Chief. I'll be brief, but obviously July is a busy month for us. It's always one of our busiest months. As you recall, last meeting, I mentioned that the new fire station, the fourth fire station is open. They're at I-35 in Delaware, right there by Texas Motor Speedway, and it's been busy. It opened July 1st, and we've been busy all month. I think July 4th, we made 32 calls, which we averaged about 11, 12 a day. So About 9 of those were grass fire related, so just kind of kids to see, if you haven't noticed, it is pretty hot and dry. Thankfully, we don't have any bad winds because, but 2 out of 3 definitely are having issues with grass fires right now. So if you know, if you have pasture, like, you know, especially near the roadways, please keep those cut, because that's usually where they start, the heat come off hard and things, items and such. But anyway, just be aware of that, we are under a burn ban, so just be mindful of that, and it's always amazing because we've had even today and a couple this weekend, just illegal burn, people are out burning and going, what, look around, what are you doing? So anyway, just keep that in mind. In the report itself, obviously, just to kind of show some of the impact of the new station. Keep in mind that this station it's in our district, but we were paying the town of Grumble to cover. And so we built the station, now we're taking on those calls. The calls ended up being a lot more than what we expected. We were getting reports from Roanoke, about 35 calls a day. And I think we hit about 70 calls last month. So it could be just July, but we'll see. But to put in perspective, on page 4, we've never hit 400 calls. And we hit 473 calls. So it's quite a bit of call volume. Just for year to date, we were up until July, we were 9% increase year to date. That puts us at about 13%. So something we'll be watching. There's already conversation amongst the commissioners about adding a 5th station. We're already starting to have those conversations as part of the budget process. So we'll be looking at that the next few years. Also on page 5, just one more thing we've added, because now we do have 4 stations. We've always had, when I look at this metric, it helps me see how busy we are across the district, and it's the overlapping calls, how many calls are happening at the same time. And so we've added a category for each time we have 4 more calls, 3 more calls, and of course, the overlapping calls. Interesting enough, though, overlapping calls where we have more than 1 call happening at the same time is 56% of the time. That's a lot of it. So July, again, very busy. A lot of that has to do also that we don't have any hospitals in our district. Every time we transport somebody, they're going to Denver, they're going to Grapevine, they're going someplace else. So that's just one of the challenges. I do suspect over time, probably at the hospital, probably in the North Lake area, but it does have an impact on our transport. Anyway, we do look at those numbers, and I just want to kind of report on that. Also in July, we had our active threat training. I think Bartonville PD and a lot of the agencies around, basically we worked with closely. So during the week of July 27th, we did 3 days of training at the Wells Church there off 407. And it was a great training. I think there's a lot of benefits, and we wanted to do it before the school year started. Hopefully we never had one of those incidents, but the fact that we were able to get together and kind of put the names with the faces and get to know everybody, that is always a great networking opportunity and good training with that. For September, we will have our annual blood drive. That's how we honor September 11th. We don't ever want to forget September 11th. So each year we do a blood drive that will be on September 11th from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And also in September, we've got our annual vaccine class. We offer free vaccine plan. All you need to do is bring your insurance card and get a variety of vaccines: pneumonia, shingles, tuberculosis, Hep A and B, COVID, I mean, RSV, there's a whole variety of them. And just, if you need to get your vaccine, we offer that on September 26th, and that'll be, I think from, 11 to 4 p.m. as well. So, oh, one more thing, we are looking to do our grand opening for the new station on that day, September 26th. We haven't put it out officially. We just kind of selected that, so you'll probably see it about that in a few weeks. So it won't be until September. I think the commissioner kind of want to wait to go with Cooper. Because we were talking about, hey, it's open, and they're like, yeah. So, and it will be in September. With that, I'll keep short, I'll take any questions.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, careful out there, so thank you.
Yeah.
Police Department, Chief Ashburn.
Thank you, Mayor. For the month of July, we responded to 114 calls for service. That's compared to 138 last month. Notable calls for service included 19 commercial alarm calls, 5 residential alarms, 1 disturbance call, 1 domestic disturbance call, 9 follow-up investigations, 10 suspicious person vehicle calls, and 2 terroristic threat investigations. Also responded to 5 traffic crashes, all occurring on FM 407, and that's compared to 15 of last month. There was 1 at 407 and Hilltop. And good news about that is, well, it's not good news about the accident, but it looks like we have good chance of getting a red light at that location. I know Tech Stop's looking into it. The town administrator, you'll correct me if we got email from them saying that, hey, they're definitely looking at it and it looks like a good possibility.
TxDOT did respond, I think that I sent that email to you, that they are looking at that. So there's just a few stipulations that they had in there that they would want to consider, so. Yes, we at least have the ball moving, how fast that goes, I don't wanna make any projections. So, but yes, we have gotten a reply back from them, so hopefully soon we will have a signal light there to reduce those accidents.
Hopefully sooner than later.
Thanks for that update, by the way. The conditions didn't seem like they were too onerous. So. No.
They were just talking about expansions of the road and things like that.
Yeah.
The mayor and I went to that, thoroughfare, Denton County, and they're gonna expand, obviously, 407 on the other side of the Lone Star.
All the way along.
Yeah, all the way out to 35, and I think we'll be fine there. Yes, sir.
Department reported 2 Part 1 crimes, both were classified as aggravated assaults. This brings the year-to-date total to 14 Part 1 crimes. Total officer self-initiated activity for the month of was 449 contacts, consisting of 226 building checks and close patrols, 29 traffic complaint enforcement actions, radar enforcement, 177 traffic stops compared to 159 last month, and 17 business contacts, walkthrough inspections. Overall activity levels remain consistent with proactive officer engagement continuing through traffic enforcement, business contacts, and directed patrol efforts throughout the town. That's all I have. Entertain any questions y'all might have?
Yeah, Chief, what type of activity or response you having with Cypress? On their, with contacts with them, with either. With
Motorcycles or bicycles?
Bicycles.
You know, we see some bicycles out here. It's not a big group of them. It's usually, what I've been seeing is single riders mostly. And you'll have some pairs riding around, but I haven't seen any big groups personally.
I think the road construction has
Okay.
stopped a lot of the big
They
roads.
tend to get out most weekends.
Yeah,
More on the weekends.
I haven't seen it. I walk in the mornings, I don't see big groups usually more than maybe 1, 2, 3, but since the road construction, they haven't come through big groups. Now, when it's open,
Now I'm sure it'll pick up when that road goes back up.
There's a decent pressure by our law enforcement here for a while.
Yes.
Should those guys for stop signs.
Mhm.
We're well known for
Yeah.
enforcing bike laws, because I'm a rider, and I have a real good buddy, when he found out I was working here, he goes, "Oh, you're the bike Nazis." I said, "No, we just expect you to ride like you should." But other than that, yeah, it's been pretty quiet on that bicycle.
Any other questions for you?
and,
Thank you.
thanks, Chief.
Administration, Shannon?
Thank you, Mayor. As we have been doing the last couple of months, I'm gonna start before we look into July specifically. I would like to show you the bank balances as of today. The general fund is $4,982,767. We did talk about the reserve, it's $862,616. So we are moving along. For the month of July, the reserve account earned interest $2,465, bringing our year-to-date revenue to $25,329. This has brought us over our budget of 19 by $6,329. So we are moving along, even though the interest rate has dropped. When we moved that $183,000 in here, it has moved us up a little bit. But next year, we should have a 3.5% interest rate compared to the high 4s and 5s that we had the last couple of years. Any questions before I move on? Okay. So all general fund reserves For the month of July, we brought in $7,276 in property tax, bringing our year-to-date revenue to $1,352,865. As Kirk mentioned earlier in the budget workshop, we are $152,865 over the budget. Sales tax brought in $83,181, bringing our year-to-date revenue to $871,667. Did want to point out, we do have a negative amount in the LOESE training, that's police specific training that we get money from the state comptroller's office. We actually was able to use some of that money for a couple of training activities at the range plus the ammunition, so that's why it's a negative number. We spent $1,500 out of that line item for those trainings.
Yeah.
The total revenue for July was $162,923, bringing the year-to-date revenue to $2,893,150. Anybody have any questions on this line? Okay, as I mentioned previously, we brought in $83,181 in sales tax in July, which was the May sales tax. And of $83,181, and that brought our 12-month average collected to $88,000, an increase of $976 over last month's collections, which is allowing us to keep the upward tick on our graph. Any questions? Okay. All general fund expenditures total $197,594, bringing our year-to-date expenditures to $1,968,900, leaving us with an overall budget remaining of 23.44%. And at the end of month 10, we would like to have at least 17% left. So we are well above the 17%. Now we're going to break it down into administration. I do want to point out to you, the salary and benefits for this month of July were a little bit higher than the previous month. July was the second month of the year that has 3 payrolls. So that's why it's a little higher. Their total administration expenses were $91,458, bringing our total to $979,084. And sorry, let me press slide that way. Leaving the administration department with 28.63% budget for the game. There any questions here on this line? Okay. Now we'll go to the PD side. PD expensed $102,127 for the month of July, bringing the year-to-date expenditures to $837,126, bringing our budget remaining to 9.29%. And as discussed earlier in the workshop, this is due to bringing in the police chief mid-year that wasn't budgeted. We will be bringing forward some proposed budget amendments next month that will bring some of this from admin and bringing it into police to put everything better aligned. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you, Sharon.
Consent agenda. This agenda consists of non-controversial housekeeping items required by law. Items may be approved as a single motion. Items may be removed from the consent agenda of any council member. The making such a request prior to motion and vote on the consent agenda. Number 1, consider approval of the draft of the 2026 special meeting minutes. Number 2, consider approval of the Texas Commission reporting interlocal cooperation contract between the Texas Department of Public Safety and the town of Bartonville Municipal Court and authorize town administrator to execute said contract. Number 3, consider resolution appointing James Warren as the town's representative to serve on the Upper Trinity Regional Water District Board and for an unexpired 4-year term ending May 31st, 2029. And before I call for a motion, I would just like to thank Jim. Everybody knows Jim Warren. Organizes our car show.
Yes.
For Spirit Day.
I might say that
The only person that's ever really called me James in my life was my mom.
Okay.
And that was when she was mad at me.
Okay,
So, and I'm Jim Warren, yes, I'm the Spirit Day partial guy.
yes, and thank you for accepting the position and to carry the torch forward that Dell started.
My pleasure.
Dell, I wanted to thank you for serving, serving the town, but serving on the upper Trinity for so many years. You've done a great job. Giving us the information and letting us know what's going on, so thank you. Do I have a motion to accept the consent?
Go ahead.
I make a motion to approve consent agenda, number one, number two, and number three.
Second.
All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Connie. I public hearing for regular items. Discuss and consider acceptance of submission of noted revenue, voter approval, and amendments tax rate calculations. Take action to consider proposed tax rates, set a date for public hearing, consideration and adoption of tax rate of the September 15th, 2026 regular town council meeting. Staff presentation heard.
Mayor and council, as we discussed in the workshop, the town received our certified calculations from Denton County tax assessors back in August 5th. Those rates were the current, the rates were no new revenue was 0.6, I'm sorry, 0.1655054. The voter approval rate was 0.1726, and then the de minimis rate was 0.23. And we are proposing that we don't change our tax rate. We leave it at 173646. That will meet all of our revenues brought in and will meet the expenses that I just showed in the workshop. So as the mayor said, y'all are gonna need to take action by September 5th for voter to accept the new tax rate. I'll be happy to answer any more questions regarding any tax rates that we went over tonight.
Any questions? Any discussion?
And this vote will have to be a record vote.
Right.
Need to
I'm
know.
gonna, after discussion, we're gonna do a roll call. Yeah, thanks. Any comment? No? Okay, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve a maximum tax rate of 0.173646 for $100 valuation for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2026, and ending September 30th, 2027. Scheduling September the 15th, 2026 for the public hearing on the tax rate and for the adoption of said tax rate.
Second.
Okay, we need a roll call. Shannon?
Thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Morris,
Yeah.
thank you. Councilmember Chapman,
Yeah.
Councilmember Sands,
Yeah,
Councilmember Crandall.
Yeah.
Thank you. And Councilmember Aaron's.
Yeah.
Motion carried unanimously.
Number 2, discuss and consider approval of Bartonville Community Development Corporation fiscal year 2026, 2027 proposed budget. Staff presentation, Kurt.
Mayor and council, as we discussed in the workshop, this was an item that we discussed during their budget. Like I stated before, part of that increase will be for a pump for the well, and then the other part will be for the beautification, $120,000. That project, we should start that project. Evergreen was awarded the contract, moving out for RFPs, and we're gonna start that in October. Obviously, that'll be a better time to start this project, and we're looking forward to it. So I'll be happy to answer any other questions, and when that does start, I will make sure council gets updates on where we're at.
Any questions?
well, you don't have it down, did they formulate any type of opinions to the type of plants they were talking about when they actually, did they do any of the organization of the layout of the plants, just to what plants they were going to utilize, that's still within there?
Yes, sir, Councilman Sams, I will send you it's probably about a 30-page, 25-page document. No, but no, it has the pictures, it has the type of
Yeah.
plant we talked about.
Little landscape.
Sure.
All the landscape,
Yeah.
and it'll show you examples, and then we also talked about but no maintenance. So yeah, but I'll be happy to send it to you, so you get a visual of what we're looking at doing and like the different things I spoke about in the median and all the different corners, so you'll get more of a visual, but I'll send that to you.
They did a really good job of laying it all out with different plants that are. Don't need just water.
So you love that.
Great, that's great.
Anyway, yeah. You'll have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the DCGC budget for fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2026 and ending on September 30th, 2027 as presented.
I'll second.
All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Number 3, discuss and consider approval of Bartonville Crime Control and Prevention District fiscal year 2026-2027 proposed budget. Staff presentation, Chief Ashburn.
Thank you, Mayor. Council. The DCCPD held a public hearing on June 17th and they approved the budget. And this is what we spoke about at the public meeting hearing here on July 14th. Is for the equipment that town administrator mentioned earlier in his presentation. I'm here to answer any additional questions you might have on this equipment or anything you need to know.
Any questions?
This is all the same equipment you discussed last time when you were making your pitch.
Yes.
So it's all the same, yeah.
And I'll make a motion to approve the Crime Control Prevention District fiscal year budget. The fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2026 and ending September 30th, 2027 as presented.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
I'm sorry, I missed you,
Second.
thank you.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Number 4, yeah, thanks, Chief. Number 4, discuss and consider resolution supporting legislation requiring county election administrators to offer annual election services contracts to municipalities for May elections, supporting the integrity, consistency, and professional administration of municipal elections. Staff presentation, Shannon.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I start, I do want to sit there and say a special thank you to the mayor and town administrator Kirk Riggs. Our municipal clerks group does a lot of legislation work, and most cities are not able to contract with their county elections every May. Bring a lot more expenses to the town and a lot more duties during elections. And so our municipal clerks group, the Texas Municipal Clerks Association, is trying to, this year they've got state representatives behind them. And we're trying to make it a requirement that the county election administrators help during those May elections. We are very fortunate with Denton County to, they help us. But if they did not help us, we would have to go out and either buy our own election equipment, rent it. We'd have to go buy election work, find the election workers, pay them. We'd have to do all of the mail ballots. We'd have to print the ballots. We'd have to do all the public testings, everything that the county does. So, with Denton County allowing us to join with them, we're able to spread the cost through those cities that are actually doing the election. And so there are unfortunately a lot of number of cities that cannot do that. They have to do it themselves. And instead of being an election administrator that knows and works in the elections 365 days a year, they have to be an election professional for a month out of the year. So this is just something that they have state representatives that want to take it to legislation, and we're all trying, all these neighboring cities throughout the state are trying to pass this resolution saying that they support this. And city of Roanoke and city of Northlake have passed this in the last couple of weeks. So there are other cities that are working with Denton County that are trying to support our sister cities and our sister city secretaries. So thank you for allowing me to bring this to the council. For your support.
Any questions?
What's the criteria that they utilize to decide in town that provide that service?
All cities have to provide election services. And yes, and then usually some of the smaller counties, they'll help with the November, because they always have a November election. And so if they don't want to, they don't have to contract with your cities to help support that. Some cities do it out of the kindness of their heart. The commissioner's court approves it, they work with you. But if you don't have the county support, you have to do all that, and you have to bring all that in, find your election workers, print the ballots, find a printer, print them. Get the election equipment, all of that.
Sometimes we participated in, sometimes we haven't in the past. And as far as the early election.
If we have the election like we will have in November, since you did, go ahead and order the election for the reallocation of the street, maintenance sales tax,
Right.
we will be. But if we are not part of the election, they can still use this as a polling location. We are not allowed to say no as a, public building to allow them to use our facilities for that.
They usually.
Yes.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution supporting legislation requiring county election administrators to offer annual election services. Contracts to municipalities for May elections, supporting the integrity, consistency, and professional administration of municipal elections.
All those in favor? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you, council. I really appreciate this.
You're welcome.
Number 5, discuss and consider rescheduling the October 2026 town council meeting to Tuesday, October 13th, 2026, due to early voting schedule.
Thank you. Just as we spoke on the last agenda item, we will be at polling location for the November election. And early voting begins on Monday, October 19th, which our regular council meeting is on the 20th, so we are not able to use this room as this polling location live. So we were requesting to see if you guys would be available to have it the previous Tuesday on the 13th, if you are available that night. If not, we can start with the other dates we have.
Everybody available? Right. I need to make motion.
I can take the consensus if we're all available.
All the,
Rick,
Available.
everybody's available.
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Future agenda items. Closed session pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551, the town council recess and closed executive session including the following. Section 551.071, consultation with the attorney to seek legal advice of its attorney concerning pending or contemplated litigation regarding Bartonville Store LLC, Janky Office Buildings Ltd, TFLH LLC, and NTH4 Resources versus the town of Bartonville, Texas, case 426 CB 00894 SDJ, pending in the United States District Court for the Eastern District of Texas. Time being 7:23, we're now convening the public.
Wow,
Oh,
she's still loving
Yeah, we're ready. Sorry for that.
time being 7:51, we're convening an open session. No action taken from the executive session. Just a reminder that the next meeting will be September 1st. With the budget workshop starting at 6 p.m. Time being 7:51 again, meeting adjourned.